Okay, this will give us 2 minutes of time. All right, it's 11:10. We are time delay na kori. So morning everyone. I'm just halka to I guess context there because it's first of all Friday morning and then what up we're having this conversation. So our name is Ishmam. I'm from BBA 20th 20. So not much, just literally 10 years of gap between all of you. So feeling a little old. I remember যে আমার সময় যখন আমি BBA 20th ছিলাম 10th ব্যাচের কোনো আপু ভাইয়ার কথা ভাবলে ভাবতাম যে ও মাই গড দ্যাট বুড়া এন্ড দ্যাট ওল্ডি সে আর কি বুঝছে আমাদের ব্যাপারে but I still looked up to them of course because they were doing pretty good stuff at that time and এখন যারা মানে ওই সময় যারা 10th ব্যাচে ছিল they're like people like now CEOs and like leading humongous companies so it's crazy now that I think follow that. The second bit of context is last week I was reached out by Khalid Mahmood sir, who used to be one of my faculty as well. And he was saying যে তারা এবার একটা minor offer করতে চাচ্ছে and then minor এর মধ্যে minor around digital analytics or business analytics. I forgot how they exactly termed it. Probably it was business analytics. And ওখানে একটা course নেওয়ার জন্য he was like যে তুমি তো পারবে কিনা তো প্রথমে তো I was like pretty honored about it because like as a BBA student to be able to take a BBA class at one point it's a humongous thing, right? It's not data analytics. Thank you so much, bro. It's a pretty big thing. So I was very excited and I don't know about you guys. I don't know how the situation is right now, but আমাদের সময় যখন অনেকগুলো guest faculty আসতো some of the guest faculties were really good. Like মনে হতো যে না তারা actually they know their stuff. And then তাদের ক্লাসটা করতেও ভালো লাগতো compared to some of the full-time faculties যারা well let's say they could have been better আর কি আচ্ছা so তার আগে রিফাতের সাথে আমার কথা হচ্ছিল he helped me arrange this Rifat thank you so much and he also suggested যে আমি এটা রেকর্ডিং নিয়ে রাখি because those who might not attend or internet issues থাকতে পারে will be helpful for them so কারো যদি কোনো observation না থাকে I'll take a recording of this actually observation take just let me know in the comments so that then I can not take it basically so we should start recording to the Iraqi yeah so when yeah so when they reached out and everything I was like okay great tarpor he said but amra it has to go through an academic committee they have to make a final decision and all of that I was like okay cool fine apna janen if it happens but I would love to take it and amar tar kache ekta request chilo because I'm right now a working professional so weekdays je class ta ache ota jodi kono bhabe sokale dewa jay I know as a student it's pretty torturous 8:30 সময় ক্লাস করা but আমার perspective আমি দিয়েছিলাম যে if I don't take it at 8:30 then I'll have to come back to office and then আমার পুরো data almost নষ্ট হয়ে যাবে and it will hamper my work which I didn't want to do so those were the two things and then basically I think on Thursday they confirmed me they want me to take the course as a guest faculty so I was like oh wow amazing so that was that till then and tarpore ami jeta kotha bolchilam I spoke to Farhat of your batch as well as Rifat of your batch just to understand like how's the vibe around this course around this minor what are the students thinking about so tokhon ami kichu perspective পেয়েছি আর কি হালকা যে একটা apprehension আছে যে like এই টাইপের মাইনর করলে কি হবে, especially because it's the first time এই মাইনরটা অফার করা হচ্ছে. And of course there's another apprehension যে who are the faculty or who are the people who will take the classes, কেমন হবে কি হবে. I think those were the two ones, and I think the third one was যে একটা recent digital analytics type of course all of you went through, which the experience could have been better if I put it in that way আর কি. So তাই আমি ভাবছিলাম যে if I get a chance to like speak to you, because to be very honest and frank with you, আমাকে Thursday confirm করেছে and then next Saturday is the first class. It's not like I've had a ton of time to prepare. তো আমার স্বার্থ ছিল যে if I could speak with you and hear from you, আমি তাহলে ওইভাবে আসলে ক্লাসটাও প্ল্যান করতে পারতাম, right? Because it doesn't make sense আমি আমার মতো একটা জিনিস বানাবো and it's not something that you guys want, or it's not matching with what you want, and that doesn't make sense. Then খামাখা আমিও কষ্ট করলাম, তোমরাও কষ্ট করলাম, right? So my thinking was if I could get some sort of ideas, like okay, what do you expect from a course like this? What do you hope to achieve at the end of the course? তাহলে হয়তো এই কোর্সটাকে একটু প্ল্যান করতে সাজাতে would help me a bit from my side, right? That's one. Second হচ্ছে যেহেতু we're still just like I would say not a humongous gap in age. So still like I want to work together with this, not like a dictator style যে হ্যাঁ আসছে কোর্স নিয়ে চলে গেছে, did not share the cost with students. Those are the two things. The other bit is যে major and minor নিয়ে I know যে fourth year is always a tough time to trying to understand যে আমরা কোনটা নিব কি নিব. আমি যদি আমার perspective একটু share করি, I did what the people who were senior told me to do, which was like the finance major now. Finance major nile, it's like taking science in school and college. Finance major nile তুমি সবকিছু করতে পারবা, marketing major nile তোমার জন্য tough হবে অনেকগুলো কাজ করা. That's the wisdom I got, and that's the wisdom I went through. And I probably later on I regretted that, because taking finance as a major is tougher on your CGPA, especially for students like me যারা একটু last minute পড়াশোনা করতাম, একটু প্যারা খেতাম. Marketing as a major at that time was relatively easier to maintain your CGPA if that's something that you guys care about. But the other bit that আমি বুঝেছি, the myth that finance নিলে the world is open and marketing নিলে the world is a bit smaller, I realized that is really not true, because when you actually get into the recruitment process and you're applying, to be very honest, what happens is people any job opening এর জন্য দেখবা তোমরা যে 500 600 700 1000 2000 একটা CV পড়ে, because there's like just not enough jobs in the market. And তখন একটা HR recruiter most of the time যেটা করে হচ্ছে they sort by university, they just sort by Dhaka University IBA, they just sort by NSU, and then they usually sort by CGPA. I have never seen them sort by major or minor, right? Because তাদের কথা হচ্ছে যে এখন আমি যখন রিক্রুট করি আমাদের কথা হচ্ছে যে if you've gone through the 4 years of IBA journey, we know what you are like kind of as a student. So major minor doesn't matter. You will be versatile enough to adapt. But of course, if it's a very core finance job, let's say for example, it's a finance accountancy related job or a treasury related job, then maybe even though my finance major, it could be more valuable if you have like a CFA level 1 done or CMA something done, right? So in short, your major minor doesn't really affect much. You are already far ahead than your competition just by the sheer fact that you are IBA students. Now, that is a privilege. Of course, it's unfair just because but it is sadly what it is, right? You have to make of it what it is. Because again, just for the sheer fact that job opening as a doshta, people fighting for it is like 5,000. So how does any HR recruiter actually sort through those CVs? Even with this AI and AI, it really isn't possible to sort through those 5,000 unique CVs. So it just comes down to university and CGPA. CGPA ক্ষেত্রে দেখা যায় যে if you have like a 3, that's usually enough. I graduated with a 3.1, but of course the higher is good. 3.5-ish is pretty good. 3.980 is of course amazing, but ওখানে আবার sometimes একটা bias আসে যে না ওর CGPA এত বেশি high, this is a person যে হয়তো একটা টাইম পর আসলে further studies এর দিকে চলে যাবে naturally, because historical data says that. So তখন আবার sometimes একটু apprehension হয় যে do we really invest behind someone who has a 3.9? But of course this is এমন না যে ওটা বললে এটা অটোমেটিকলি খারাপ। I'm just giving you all the experiences that I have had and I have seen in this like past 10 years of working professionally in Bangladesh. So in short, major minor doesn't really matter. Now, so আমার যদি একটা minor নিতেই হয় যে তোমার minor এটা নিতে হচ্ছে, then what makes sense, right? এখন in the job market, like you having some sort of good understanding of what is data, how to make sense of data, at the Excel file দেখলে you guys are not getting afraid, at the very messy data থেকে you're able to make some insights and then you're able to present to management or the senior leaders. That is a skill set that is very much valued because ওই জিনিসটা অনেকে পারে না, অনেকে হয়তো just good at the analysis part, অনেকে is just very good at the presentation part, but taking messy data and then getting it into some sort of like tinta slide, writing the right words in the slide, saying the right things in the meeting, that is the skill set that is like extremely valuable. Now, এর আগে যদি এরকম কোনো minor ছিল না, to be very honest, I think if you have like a business analytics minor, of course আমার স্বার্থ আছে because that would mean that more of you are doing a class, but I think that would be a positive on your CV rather than it being এটা কি minor, এটা ওরা কেন করলো, because I think it would show that you're trying to adapt to how the world has moved on, right? A lot of the world right now is very AI heavy, very tech heavy, very data heavy. So showing যে ওই জিনিসটা তোমাদের মধ্যে একটু হলেও আছে. Of course, as a university student, you cannot do like a lot of things, but the fact that you're trying to do what you can, I think that's a net positive thing. And the last bit is it's up to you to brand it, right? You have to be the one যার সিভিতে লিখে বোঝাতে হবে যে এই কোর্সটা করে আমি কি পেয়েছি বা এই মাইনরটা নিয়ে আমার কি লাভ হয়েছে, and আমি এই মাইনরটা করে আমি আমার হয়তো একটা ইন্টার্নশিপ এক্সপিরিয়েন্সে কিভাবে কাজে লাগিয়েছি. That will be all of your individual stories. That cannot be like a common story, right? Your common story is your BBA students of IPA. That is automatically like you're already at a certain level. Pore parta is up to you, like how do you individually structure your thing. So আমি এটা initially বলতে চেয়েছিলাম just to like give my perspective on this as a recruiter now, and as someone আমি যখন মেজর মাইনর নিচ্ছিলাম আমাকে যদি কেউ অ্যাডভাইস দিত আমি তাহলে আমার আসলে এত প্যারা নিতে হতো না ফাইন্যান্স মেজর করে. So I did have a finance major, but the first 3 years of my professional career I was in marketing, like pure marketing, like doing working with agencies, creating TVCs, creating videos, so nothing to do with my finance major at all, right? Just to give you an idea, I have batchmates যারা marketing majors ছিল but started their careers in banks. So it's not like a marketing major stops you automatically from those things. The bigger factor, as I mentioned, is the BBA degree itself. The other bit is as per the class itself or the course itself, আমার নিয়ত হচ্ছে to make it as engaging and as like case study driven, as project driven as possible, because what we will talk about business analytics, sorry, I mean, it is business, it is data analytics, data analytics. I just একটা semester করে জানেন, and then I'll take your point, which is I do want to make it like as interactive as possible, because এই জিনিসটা আসলে অনেক বেশি theoretical না, there is theory in it, but then it's a lot of about how you actually do it, how do you solve it, how do you present it, your thinking process behind it. So I hope to bring that in, because in my years of experience, I've had to like present to like my immediate boss, of course, then to senior management, and then এখনের role I'm very privileged. এখনের role I get to work with like of course the CEO, but then a lot of the individuals are presenting to me right now, given my current role. So তখন I can direct them যে তুমি আমাকে জিনিসটা এইভাবে বুঝিয়েছো, but rather if you had brought to me in this way, I would have been able to take better decisions. So we experience I would like to bring into the curriculum and the class as well. Yes, please. I mean, অনেকক্ষণ একটা না কথা বললাম, এখন I would love to hear like anything that you guys and girls have in your mind. It can be about the course, the class, about me, etc. And sorry, the one last bit is the other bhaiya who will be taking the course, which is the machine learning one, is Damil bhaiya, who's from 15 batch. And I know that he's a pretty good teacher as well, though of course I'm in Nijada class finding. So I think that might be a pretty interesting experience also. So yeah, অনেক কথা বললাম. There- Yeah, yeah, go.
So nice to see you again. I'll be for that topic.
I wish I could say the same, but maybe during classes I will. Follow.
And so আপনি যেহেতু মেজর আর মাইনর নিয়ে বলতেছিলেন, তো তাই এখন এই কোশ্চেনটা করলাম। সো কেউ যদি মাইনর না নিয়ে ফ্রি ইলেকটিভস নেয়, ঠিক আছে, and that free electives আমাদের তখন অনেকগুলো মাইনর হতো, সো আমি ডাটার একটা কোর্স নিলাম, ওটার সাথে মেবি ইকন নিলাম বা অন্য কিছু নিলাম, so and he backs it up with a good story in interview or something. Is that a good idea?
Absolutely, because দেখো আমি যদি ফ্র্যাঙ্ক কথা বলি, when you're up to the interview state তোমার আসলে মেজর মাইনর নিয়ে খুব একটা প্রশ্ন আসবেই না, because you've gone that far, right? তখন কথাগুলো হবে যে how do you think you can contribute to this organization, stuff like that. But what you can do, যেটা তুমি rightfully put করেছো, যে I am the type of person যে হচ্ছে there was an option to take an elective. আমি data analytics নিয়ে elective নিয়েছি because I thought that the future will be very data driven, so I wanted to start my journey by that. And ওই কোর্সটা করতে গিয়ে I was able to do a project like this. If you give me some time, I would like to talk to you about it. That is the edge you can bring into the interview compared to like your batchmates, as well as of course the entire country that you are competing with for that role. So definitely, and as I was trying to say, তোমাকে ওই পার্টটা করতে হবে কিছু, how do you brand the fact that you've done this course, and hopefully the course also gives you some project or some element to shine as well, যেটা তুমি পরে দেখাতে পারবা। Yeah, brother, go for it. And it's দেখো আমি রিফাতকে বলেছি যে if I do get to take this class and if some of you are attending, I will not accept this sarmar everything, because I am not first of all a full-time faculty, and then I did BBA myself, so it's odd for me to hear that. So bhaiya is fine, and bhaiya na bollo is fine. It's okay. The other bit is যে আর কেউ যদি হ্যান্ড রেজ করে নেয় তুই জাস্ট বলে ফেল, এত ফর্মালিটি করে তো সমস্যা। Yeah. So yeah, Noor bhaiya, go for it.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So our question is for someone who's neither interested to pursue data science as like a study abroad thing, or someone who's interested to become a data analyst. So for me, my interest is to join MNCs and all. So I want to know about the scope of data analytics and MNCs. Like how will that give me an edge if I apply to MNCs?
Yeah, it's a very good question here. I think there are some MNCs who does take people like that. Management trainee role যেগুলো আছে, আমার মনে হয় না তুমি management trainee থেকে যেতে পারবা এখানে, because most management trainees are structured in a way যে ওরা হয়তো প্রোডাক্টে ল্যান্ড করবে, মার্কেটিং এ ল্যান্ড করবে, বা ডিজিটালে ল্যান্ড করবে, অথবা FMCG ওয়ার্ল্ডে সেলস এ ল্যান্ড, stuff like that. So that's a bit tough. But there are openings for like data analyst roles. Your tough part would be you will have to compete with people যাদের হয়তো CSC background আছে, যাদের engineering background আছে. But you should be able to highlight, let's say, I have done data projects. I have taken, let's say, at a random database, and I've made some nice dashboard out of it, যেটা থেকে insight আসছে. So it is possible, of course, but the journey will be a little difficult if I'm fair with you, Arki. Because it's not naturally natural na route. Khub beshi when I say natural is not the right word. Khub beshi common na route, but it's a route that's happening more and more every day. Yeah. Oh, I can do Ishmam. Bolo, brother.
Hi, Bhaiya.
Hi
So
there.
this is Ishmam here. So I had a questions regarding the AI automation that is happening in the data analytics field. For example, vibe coding is big now, so you don't really have to know the coding language that you used to have to know. For example, আমি দেখছি ভাই আপনি শিখর একটা 48 ঘন্টার মধ্যে শিখর একটা ফিচার লঞ্চ করছিলেন vibe coding করে. So I personally believe that if AI is there to help me assist in coding or doing data analytics, I should definitely be mastering it. Because আমার কাছে যদি সাইকেল থাকে আমি হেঁটে হেঁটে কেন যাব? So what's your policy will be while taking the course? Will you let us use AI to supercharge our deliverables, or give you the assignments that will be tasked? Will you be able to use AI, or how much of AI applications would you be teaching to us? এটা একটা question ভাই. Second question is, say for example I take data analytics as a minor, but you are liberal or you are progressive enough to let us use AI in your submissions, but the faculties that we would have in next semester, সে আরো ক্লিশে বা সে বললো তোমাকে কোডিং মুখস্থ করতে হবে, তোমাকে জানতে হবে ইনারজয়েন্ট কি, ইউ নিড টু দ্য কোডিং, হাতে কোডিং করার একটা ফিল আছে, তুমি সেটা করবা। তখন তো উই উড মানে আই উড বি ইন ট্রাবল আর কি। সো মানে হোয়াটস ইউর টেক অন দিস ভাই? two questions. Thank you.
Fair enough. I mean, just to follow up to Nini, just for my context, till now, of all the faculties, or let's say IBA policy as well, what has that been? Like, are you guys encouraged to use AI? Like, so that I understand what the status quo right now is.
ভাই ইট ডিফার্স ভেরি, মানে আমাদের ফিলোসফি ফ্যাকাল্টি যেমন আমাদের একটা অ্যাসাইনমেন্টে দিছিল যে আমি চ্যাট জিপিটি রে আর্গুমেন্ট দেবো, আবার চ্যাট জিপিটি আমার এগেইনস্ট আর্গুমেন্ট দেবে, সেটা আমি সাবমিট করব। A lot of faculty encourage us heavily to use AI, and a lot of faculty even penalizes or discourage us to use AI. So the experience is mixed. It fluctuates.
Got it. Fair enough. Fair enough. So, okay, I can tell you how I would, inshallah, plan to do it is, of course, I would expect all of you to use it. লাগলে আমি আরো উল্টা ধাক্কা দিব যে ইউজ কেন করলা না, because you know some of the work you shouldn't have to do by hand anymore. But I would also encourage, like, what AI has done, try to understand what it has done, right? Ask it questions, যে তুমি এটা কেন করলা, এই অ্যাপ্রোচটা কেন নিলা, because it's also important for you to understand what it's doing. Like even the feature that you talked about that we launched, we're able to launch it that fast because যেহেতু আমরা জানতাম যে ভিতরের সিস্টেমটা কি, ভিতরের ডেটা স্ট্রাকচারটা কি, we were able to prompt the AI system যে আমাকে তুমি ঠিক এইভাবে ধরে বানিয়ে দিও। What that happens is, unless you give it that context, ও একটু আসলে মাঝে মধ্যে মনের মাধুরী মিশিয়ে বানায় ফেলে, and then it kind of works, but it doesn't do what you wanted it to do. Then তোমার আবার সময় যায় to fix it to the way that you want it to do, right? So for me, it's important যে of course you're using tools. আমি আমার নিজের টিমমেটদেরকে সারাদিন বলি, ভাই প্লিজ এগুলো করিস না, এই কাজ আর হাত দিয়ে করিস না। But I also tell them, you know, just because it's giving you stuff, don't just give me the AI vomit. Because if I can ask you 2-3 questions about what the task was, I expect you to be able to answer that. That is it. So you have to understand. Future faculty ki korbe bhaiya dekho, eta I cannot promise you je 100% tara eta allow korbe, because it's out of my control. But what is in my control, inshallah, and what I believe is je being a guest faculty, I'll have some access to the current full-time faculties, right? And I can tell them, you know, I don't know about the other courses that you guys have, but other major or minor, but DA, data analytics type একটা minor AI usage ke na bolata would be absurd in this time and age. So যদি এটা কেউ আপনারা করতে চায়, you as the faculty, the full-time faculties, don't allow that, right? I can make that case, and আমি এটা লাগে 3-4 বার তাদেরকে বলে গেলাম, you know, this would be my advice for the 8th semester that you guys have আর কি। So I can promise you I will try my level best, and তারপরেও যদি say you guys are saying that we got a faculty who's not allowing me to do this, I will remain accessible, that you can raise it to me, because যেহেতু আমি নিজেকে BBA student ছিলাম, let's say Melita Miss is someone I had as a faculty, Khaled sir is someone I had as a faculty, so I can tell them যে sir miss আপনারা হয়তো জানেন না এটা হচ্ছে, but this is absurd, let the kids use these tools. It's up to me as the instructor যে I need to set up such an evaluation method যেখানে তোমরা AI useful, it shouldn't be a bad buzz, right? It should be like a good thing. So that's what I can assure you. It's a beshi at the moment. I'm a false promise for China. I hate doing that because I would hate it if I can't keep my word, right? And yeah.
Thank you so much, Craig.
Noor, you had a follow-up. You got disconnected. So I'm coming to DNE. How much relevance do you think a DA minor this course will bring to MT roles in the MNCs? I think MT roles যেটা হয় যে ultimately তুমি একটা management trainee হওয়ার প্রথম কয়েক মাস or even a year you are placed into different teams, but then ultimately you will be assigned to a specific team. So this can be sales, this can be brand, this can be product, etc. ওই টিমে তুমি যখন ল্যান্ড করবা, ultimately at some point in your work you will have to do research, you will have to work with big data, You will have to work with unstructured data. You will have to present it. You will have to make it pretty. All of that. এটার থেকে লুকানোর কোনো উপায় নেই. Let's say you become a territory manager. Let's say you become a product manager. Let's say you become a data analytics person. এই জিনিস থেকে মাফ নাই. সবারই ultimately Excel খুলতে হয়. সবারই ultimately PowerPoint open করতে হয়. Until we have some other tools in the future যেখানে এটা these are replaced. So in short, I think having this course should be helpful because when I graduated 4 years পড়াশোনা করে, I realized okay, IB আমাকে literally proper Excel usage শিখায় নাই, IB আমাকে PowerPoint usage শিখায় নাই। আমি যতটুকু একটু শিখেছিলাম that was doing business competitions, but business competitions doesn't really teach you the required level of expertise যেটা তোমার একটা workplace এ লাগে। অথবা even if you want to be an entrepreneur yourself, which is amazing, but entrepreneur হলেও you will need to structure your ideas, put it into like a Gantt chart, put it into like a proper presentation. You will need to present to then maybe investor. So that's still, ওই muscle-টা still লাগে, right? So I think it will be helpful, but of course you will also have to be the one যে তাদেরকে বোঝাতে হবে যে দেখেন আমি এটা করেছি, এটা করে আমি কিন্তু এই জিনিস জানি। আপনি যদি আমাকে এখন একটা task দেন in terms of like I have to present this by tomorrow and get insights out of this, I'm fairly confident I'll be able to do a decent job. So I think that's the way you can utilize this RQ. Yeah, please, Bolna.
Hello, Bhaiya. I just wanted to ask if someone is very new to coding and they're not very comfortable with data analytics or coding as much, would it be wise for them to take DA as minor?
Our personal opinion, Apu, is yes. Because the way I still see it, যে DA মানে যে আমার অনেক coding করতে হবে, not necessarily. Like a very well done Excel spreadsheet can be as powerful as a coding করা dashboard. Because Excel এ আমরা formula use করছি, formula কিন্তু underneath the formulas is effectively code, right? So but you're still having to use that knowledge. Okay, আমার এই ফর্মুলাটাকে ইউজ করে এটার সাথে এই ফর্মুলাটা কম্বাইন করে আমি একটা জিনিস বানাচ্ছি। কথার কথা আমি একটা 12-month forecast বানিয়েছি, but there can be 3 versions. It can be like a optimistic forecast, this can be like a pessimistic forecast, but then you have like a drop down Excel এর মধ্যে যেটা আমি just click করলে forecastটা পুরো চেঞ্জ হয়ে যায় because you've structured the formula in such a way. That sometimes is as powerful as like a very fancy code Cora system. So I think the mindset here should be coding, not necessarily, but does it interest you? I love working with like messy data. Messy বলতে হচ্ছে সবসময় ডেটা খুব সুন্দর করে আসে না, স্পেলিং মিস্টেকস থাকে, নাম্বার আবুল তাবুল থাকে, কয়েকটা জায়গায় টেক্সট থাকে, কয়েকটা জায়গায় থাকে না। ওই ডেটাটাকে আমি আগে গুছাতে কি আমি পছন্দ করি কিনা, গুছানোর পর do I have the knack to ask the questions of the data? Okay, trend kemon? Are we doing good in Borishal or are we doing good in Dhaka? What does being good mean? Those are the things I think is the muscle I would love to help build for all of you. And then tarpor apu, it's tumi kiভাবে ওটাকে present করে, it's up to you. You can use Excel, you can use PowerPoint, you can use Canva, you can use coding tools like Python, you can use, let's say, Tableau. Those are just tools of how you present, right? I think when you are presenting and when you're expressing your ideas to, let's say, the audience, তাদের আসলে কিন্তু অত বেশি যায় আসে না তুমি কি প্ল্যাটফর্মটা ইউজ করেছো। But it's not like you get more marks because you use Tableau instead of Power BI. I'm naming tools. These are all ultimately visualization tools. But what you get marks for is what is it that you're showing? What is the insight that you're showing? So I think ওটা ইস্যু হবে না, and আমার সাইড থেকে I don't want to make it a very coding heavy as well because it's not for everyone, which I completely understand. But maybe I'll keep some parts if you have some coding knowledge, আর কি কি জিনিস করা possible. So in that way, it won't be like every one of you or those who attend the minor or the course আমার Python পারতেই হবে বা আমার SQL, which is the database query language, আমার পারতেই হবে. Because I don't think the matter part of it, especially as Ishmam was saying as well, given the AI age that we're in, it also is not really super necessary for you to be able to do that. But it's important for you to know that the AI tool get prompt kore ami ekta jinis banate parbo. That is it, right?
Thank you. I had a follow-up question. How
Yeah.
do you plan to design the course? As you already mentioned that we will probably be able to use AI, and it won't be very knowledge heavy. So like, how do you plan that? How are we going to, what should we be expecting from the course?
Yeah, so I think, to be very honest, super beshi time day নাই, because as I said, I got the confirmation yesterday. So till now that in my mind ভেবে রেখেছি, and of course this will change, and I would love to take পরে maybe in some other form like direct feedback from you, like what do you expect from the course. But I was thinking maybe we can structure it into like multiple projects. Of course, multiple projects not happening at the same time. It can be like just on a charter class today, we will be trying to build towards a particular project. So the end result of those 4 classes would be that project, but আমরা ধুত করে চলে যাব না. And it can start off maybe like like a very messy Excel file. How do we get it to a management level presentation, for example? And I'm thinking I would love to do this in groups, but not like humongous 5জন 6জনের group. And then truly evaluating in terms of what was your thought process, কেন তোমরা এটাকে এইভাবে অ্যাপ্রোচ করেছো, and end result তোমাদের কেন মনে হয় এটা best. Those are the criteria I would be looking for, rather than এই জায়গাটা AI থেকে আসছে, এই জায়গাটা আমি এই tool use করেছি. That's not super important to me. And then of course I will also judge, did you just copy paste whatever the AI gave it to you, or were you able to define it to make it logical for what we were supposed to do? So till now that's been my idea. But of course, আমার একটু IB facultyদের সাথে কথা বলতে হবে, because there's a concept of midterm, there's a concept of finals. So how do we incorporate that? But আমি just এতটুকু বলতে পারি যে আমি হুদাই প্যারা দিতে চাই না, হুদাই প্যারা খেতে পছন্দ করি না. So that's something I will not do. So I'll try to make it as logical for all of you as well. If I could maybe do like just a 3-4 project মিলিয়ে contributes to some marks that contributes to your grade, I would love to do that. Midterm, of course, এমন কিছু নিতে চাই না যে তোমাদেরকে হাতে কোড করতে হবে and stuff like that. That is ancient practices যেগুলো এখন করা উচিত না. So how do I actually do the midterm? Apu, at this moment, I honestly don't know. I'm sorry, I don't have a better answer. But I will try to ensure that it's not a surprise to you. যে হঠাৎ করে একদিন বলে দিলাম এটাই midterm হবে. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
It's welcome. So it's almost 40 minutes. I appreciate almost 28 of you have given this time, and it was somewhat helpful, and people are still joining, which is amazing. It was, I can't say it's helpful, but at least give you some perspective. But still, যদি আর কোনো particular question থাকে, Rifat, yes, I'll take yours as well. Do send it to me. I know that you have like a registration deadline around 7th maybe. So এর মধ্যে যদি আরো কিছু মনে হয়, I am mostly available on Facebook. That's usually the fastest way to reach me. You can knock me directly. অথবা I am in conversation with Rifat. Rifat actually is working at Chico, so আমি আসলে ওকে ওভাবে চিনি. Then I realized, oh damn, অত 30th-এই পড়ে. So that's when I started speaking with him. Rifat, yeah, go for it.
ভাইয়া বেসিক্যালি হচ্ছে এইটা ডাটা ভিজুয়ালাইজেশনের কোর্সের একটা জিনিস নিয়ে প্রবাবলি আমি যতটুকু জানি ভাইয়া, মানে গতবার আমাদের হয়েছিল যে আমরা ফাইনাল এক্সামটা আসলে হচ্ছে ফাইনাল প্রজেক্ট বা ক্যাপস্টোন প্রজেক্ট এই টাইপের জিনিস দিয়েও আসলে করা যেতে পারে। ইফ আই এম নট রং, সিআর আর একটু ভালো হেল্প করতে পারবে। সো সেই ক্ষেত্রে ভাইয়া প্রবাবলি এইটা হয়তো বেটার হইতো, এই জিনিসটা এরকম। সো এইটা আর কি আপনাকে একটা হেডস আপ দেওয়ার জন্য।
Okay, so like there can be a final project and that can count towards like your final basically. যদি আমি বুঝতে থাকি নাকি ভুল বুঝলাম?
হ্যাঁ ভাই, এটাই আর কি একটা সো ক্যাপস্টোন প্রজেক্ট টাইপের জিনিস যেটা আমাদের হচ্ছে ফাইনাল ইভালুয়েশনের জন্য আর কি ইউজ হতে পারে। এরকম একটা ক্রাইটেরিয়ন ছিল আমাদের গতবারের কোর্সে, এরকমই একটা জিনিস বলা হয়েছিল আর কি।
Got it. So তাহলে তো great. If you can make it project based, তাহলে তো would make life pretty easier আর কি। আর Noor, you've had a very good point. আসলে original software too, it's tough because I don't think IBA will help you with that. And নিজেদেরও আসলে কেনাটা খুব একটা worth it হবে কিনা, I'm not sure. Maybe we can try to figure out ways যেখানে we can get access to these softwares. আর এমন কিছু জিনিসই ইউজ করব যেটা মনে করো is compatible with both Windows and Mac, so that hopefully যারা Mac user করছে that there wouldn't be a problem. Like for example, Excel is a both. I'm যতটুকু জানি Power BI most likely Mac available now, which is a challenge, but with problem Power BI use it করলাম না. So we'll try to do that আর কি. Most of the time, our experience till now is the cracked or the not the bought out software usually is decent enough যে কোনো issue ছাড়া আসলে করাই যায়. So of course it would be ideal for you to buy the purchase software, but যেহেতু you guys are still students, I would be like, you know, the moment you get into a workplace, তখন when you're earning properly, তখন buy those softwares for sure. But হয়তো এখন for educational purposes, আমরা হয়তো একটু আর পেয়ে গেলাম আর কি for now. Yeah. জি বলেন.
Bhaiya, actually, a lot of us are considering taking econometrics course along with the data course. So I just wanted to ask you, like, whether it would be wise for us to take econometrics with data visualization course or machine learning course for business, which is another course that will be offered this semester for data analytics.
Good point, Apple. So machine learning, আমার কাছে মনে হয়েছে till now is definitely a very interesting area, but it's also, I think, maybe not for everyone because it is naturally very more math heavy, a bit more coding heavy. But এমন না যে তোমার again সব language জানতে হবে, but it's just a bit more math heavy, right? Because ultimately that's what it's doing. And if there's an interest, just আমি ultimately machine learning, ML শিখে আমি আরো বেশি specifically ওই পথে হাঁটতে চাই, যে to the point যে আমি একটা engineer হব অথবা আমি AI model বানাবো, then maybe it would make sense to take that. But if it's like not, if none of that is like something that resonates with you right now, maybe econometrics might be interesting as well. আমাদের সময় যেমন it wasn't offered. আমি personally economics পছন্দ করতাম, but econometrics by definition I think is also very math heavy, stats heavy. So again, it is something to keep in mind. Is that something that comes natural to you? Is that something that you enjoy doing? But then কাজের মধ্যে আসলে utilize করতে গেলে I'm not really sure how much you can really leverage the economic. ওইভাবে utilization হয় না, but knowing the fundamentals of like how the levers of the economy works, supply, demand, and all of that, I think that of course helps you, but যেটা একটা macro course অনেক একটু cover করে ফেলে. So that part I'm a little unsure of. Something like professional life, এটা তুমি কতটুকু leverage করতে পারবে? But maybe a master's in eco might be something. If you want to do a master's in eco at some point, then maybe it makes sense to start early. So এখানে হয়তো তোমার একটু চেষ্টা করতে হবে trying to figure out, and I know it's tough to figure out just when you're starting your fourth year, যে আমি আসলে kind of কি হতে চাই. But at this point, maybe something I wish I did was I wish I spoke to people that are doing the work that I thought I wanted to do. Like for example, আমার মনে হতো fancy লাগতো যে একটা Unilever-এর TM is so fancy, তার নিজের গাড়ি আছে and whatnot and MT. But then পরে যখন আমি একটু বুড়ো হলাম, বয়স্ক হলাম, I realized okay, তার day-to-day job is what, and তার day-to-day jobটা বোঝার পর I realized okay, that is a job I would not enjoy, right? And maybe someone else will enjoy that, and I completely respect that, but I know I will not enjoy that. But আমাদের যেটা হয় যে when we're in our fourth year, কেউ আমাদেরকে আসলে বলে না যে this is what the job looks like, you know, are you prepared to do this? Because that's what the job is. It looks like this from the outside, but this is what it is. So if there's someone that you are, you know, or you look up to, or you go like, okay, that is a path I would like to be on myself as well, maybe it's a good time to just nod them. IBA Manojjan are pretty nice if you want to learn about their journey and if you approach them that way. কারোর সাথে যদি তোমার মনে হয় যে ভাই আমি রিচ করতে পারছি না, can you help me reach them? That's something I would love to do, especially if I'm already chiní. It's easier for me to do that. So use that thing, Arki. That would be my suggestion around this. Noor, you had another question, which is general take on taking marketing as a minor. I think that's not a bad idea, marketing minor হিসেবে নেওয়াতে, because it depends on what the courses are being offered. It depends on who's being offering that. মানে আমার এখন অ্যাডভাইসটা হচ্ছে যে if you can try to figure out যে ক্লাসগুলো কে নিবে and ক্লাসগুলো কিসের ব্যাপারে হবে or what the course is about, let that be your guiding principle rather than marketing আমি একটা minor হিসেবে নিলাম. Because what I've tried to say is when you are actually finally standing in front of an interview and you're speaking to someone, তারা আসলে marketing major, marketing minor, finance major, finance market এগুলো কিছু বলছেই না. But they're rather trying to think about how do you think, what are the things you know. So if you go like, okay, acha eta ke nibe, a faculty nibe, okay, I don't think this faculty will really be able to teach me much about this topic. And I think that's a fair assessment. Tomra 3 বছর ধরে IB তে পড়েছো, you can now make this assessment. But if you go like, okay, now there is a faculty যে might be able to give me some things, and she'll be now there, I will tell that person যে আপনার তো এইসব জিনিস জানার কথা, আপনি এগুলো পড়ছেন না কেন, এগুলো একটু পড়ান বা ক্লাসে নিয়ে আসেন. Of course, don't say it the way I did, but say it the way you would say Arki. So, in short, I think it's definitely a decent minor to take, but just because it's a marketing minor, try to find out like at least a semester who have been selected to take these. Because I think Thursday the decision হয়ে গেছিল, so by now most likely it's locked. আমি আসলে সবগুলো জানি না যে কে কোন কোর্স নিচ্ছে. ML-টাও জানতাম না, পরে রিফাত asked me যে ভাই জানা যায় কিনা, then I just asked Melita Mason, I found it from her যে Damil Bhai from 15 to নিবে আর কি.
Yeah, regarding the discussions around employment concept, we are in our final year. We likely do not have even a year till our graduation. So employment is looming around our faces. We are kind of scared, confused, and whatnot. So I wanted to know that in this final year, if you were to mention 3 key habits or skills or things that we need to focus on. For example, it could be CGPA, it could be ECA, it could be specific skills like software suits. What are the 3 differentiated factor that makes IBA candidate stand out? For example, if HSBC were to take ABs, so why should it be from one of us, not from other certain universities? So what are those 3 differentiated factors from your experience?
Yeah, it's very tough. Just to highlight Quran. Let me try to think and try to prioritize our key. I think fundamentally, whether we like it or not, CGPA is a factor. People will judge you on your CGPA. I mean, 29 of us are your CGPAs, but I would suggest try your level best to keep it above 3. 3 year you just have to answer a lot more questions around your CGPA. 3 year উপরে থাকলে আসলে কেউ জিজ্ঞেস করে না. Of course, the more higher towards 4 you can keep better. But if you're just clearing 3, you should be fine. That's the first thing I would keep, right? And my experience in my days was IBA একটা কোর্সে 3.9, 3.8 মানে high grade stuff and অনেক low grade like F4D এটাও পাওয়া tough. একটা level পর্যন্ত perform করলে B plus. Sorry. So I don't know if that's the case right now, but if that's the case, try to judge it like that. As long as I can keep like a 3.5, I keep like a 3.4, I should be fine. So that's one, the CGPA part. The second is definitely, I think CCAs help. This can be business competitions, this can be like part of a club or something, because that gives you arekta জিনিস to talk about, right? And তোমাকে as an individual makes stand out যে আচ্ছা সে academics করেছে, but also try to make time to build themselves up as well. So arekta কিছু করেছে, right? So business competition arekta help I feel, of course there might be some other things as well, যেটা হচ্ছে যে business competition will force you timeline charge করা, it will force you to present in front of senior people, it will force you to handle tough questions. So that builds you in a little bit. Of course, business competition পেয়ে যাবে, but that helps in a little bit. You have some job there, some experiences there as well. Third হচ্ছে of course trying to build some sort of skill sets around let's say things that you need in the workplace. So তুমি একটা সুন্দর বলছিলাম tough situation simple বানাতে তুমি কতটুকু comfortable feel করো অথবা তুমি একটা data visualize করতে কিভাবে চিন্তা করো these are the things that will give you a little bit more edge and can a little bit more edge দিবে এখন হচ্ছে your CV is there but to be very honest CV এর সাথে এখন LinkedIn চলে আসছে right because most people have simplified their CV you've had to simplify your CV because now CV reading তোমার CV পড়তে পারে না because you simplify your CV তে কোনো কিছু লেখা যায় না বলা যায় না so then অনেক সময় very natural যে people share LinkedIn profiles they go to their LinkedIn and when I go through someone's LinkedIn I personally look at their experience ছিল their background ছিল their experience ব্যাপারে কত লিখেছে right you can just write let's say internet XYZ or you can write internet XYZ and then A B C D these are the things I'm able to do as an intern there that is more valuable than just internet XYZ and then parts are valuable if you have some posts if you have some posts I'll be able to understand how does Ishmam actually talk like how is his thinking process I'll get an idea because other than that আমরা তোমার সাথে one-to-one 10-20 minutes spend করতে হবে to understand who you are if I can understand even a little bit about who you are before sitting with you তাহলে আমি কিন্তু level of interest আমার চলে আসে so CGPA if you can do some ECS around this great 3 হচ্ছে spending some time to build skills in Excel PowerPoint and talking about those skills not just coding it needs to be visible in your LinkedIn as well I would say those are 3 things I would focus on if I were in my field right now
Thank you so much.
Almost welcome, yeah. Okay, so I've got a good question. Some of us taking marketing as a major, finance as a major. Do you have any plan to bring smart areas of yours, maybe in the project and help parents source areas when we enter the job? Honestly, at this point I'm beginning, but that is a very good point. I'm sure we can bring in concepts of like marketing and একটা জিনিস কি আমরা হয়তো গিয়ে data analytics world কাজ করতে পারি কাজে লাগাতে পারি so I will copy this question and keep it as a note for me so that so that I am designing like part of the course for sure that's a very good point thank you Yep. So if there's anything more that's still like bugging your mind, this is a big of a forum. You're not comfortable, as I said. My face is there. I'm totally just give you a link my account. I mean, message it, drop queries. That helps. Yeah, should do it. Message your account. If you feel like try to ask the channel on this, so I would love to help. But that's it. I genuinely appreciate the time for this. I hope it wasn't wasted on our part. Recording যেমন আমার হয়ে যাবে I'll give you the link kindly to the if you like share do that. All in all, I know it's very tough confusing time for year shoota. But don't worry, life অনেক বাকি আছে ইনশাআল্লাহ এমন না যে আপনার decisions really affect you forever you can change it around as well there are people যারা let's say territory manager type work করে and এখন the data analytics world হয়েছে so everything is possible provided that you know taking the time and effort for that so don't feel like you take a final decision don't put a lot of stress and put a lot of same stress on yourself যে না আমার একটা right decision নিতে হবে so do your searching in terms of the class নিবে use your CRs they should be able to help you with this by now and then try to make a judgment call this is what should be and don't worry a lot about exactly major minor because you know ultimately it will all matter on how you are doing the assessments, how you're doing your interviews and all that. That's really the main factor. So yeah. That's about it. I think our conversation will wrap up. hopefully I get to see a few of you in the classes. আমার তখন ভয় ছিল just কেউ দিবে না poster. I was like, oh crap. So I told my I didn't tell everyone. I told my mom and dad এটা chance পেয়েছি and they were pretty happy about it. Then I was like, shit, কেউ poster না নেয় তাহলে তো অনেক ঝামেলা. So but then I also wanted to understand like how are all of you thinking, and I think you are thinking the right things. You are worrying about the right things. So hopefully by the end of the course we'll have like a decent time. You're most welcome. That's them. All right. Take care everyone. Have a good rest of the week.
Thank you, Bhaiya.
You're most welcome. Stop. Hey.